What is good, defenders, and welcome to your latest installment of Vancouver Whitecaps Weekly, the weekly podcast where we break down our latest match against Vancouver. That's right. It's Defenders of the Bank, episode 336, only 100 of which have been about playing the Vancouver Whitecaps. You know my voice. You know the subject. You know what we are about to do. For the 11th time in the last two seasons, LAFC takes on Vancouver, and dare I say, this was the worst of all of the 11. It's the Scarf. J.R. Liebert coming to you live from Lawndale with this behind me. That's what I've got for now. But that being the case, certainly someone whose background, if even not the foreground, is better to look at, one Christian Philly Philemon.
Hello, Los Angeles. Happy Monday. Hello. You know we quote wrestling things all the time, whether it be referencing the millions
and millions
or laying the smacketh down on somebody, etc., etc. I am going to harness my inner Cody Rhodes and ask y'all, so what do you want to talk about? I don't want to talk about Vancouver again. I'm tired of talking about Vancouver. I'm tired of seeing Whitecaps kits. I'm tired of seeing Vanni Sartini. More importantly, I'm even annoyed that we have to play against them on Friday for a multitude of reasons, ranging from having to have more money come out of my pocket, from having to not have the ability to see the game on Friday because I won't be there because I've got a broadcast. It all is stinking Vancouver. You said it right. Vancouver Whitecaps Weekly. This is exactly how it's been. I don't even want to be here right now. But I love the Scarf, and I love y'all. So here we go, unpacking another stupid game against the Vancouver Whitecaps. And there is no dare, Scarf. You absolutely hit the hammer on the nail. This was the worst game against the Vancouver Whitecaps we've had in quite a while. I can't believe we're here having to do this again. Another one more sleep to talk about the Vancouver Whitecaps. I am sick of Vancouver.
I want to give a quick shout out. Our buddy Mario Alvarado, who is a very regular in the chat. I'm just going to read his exact message for all of you who aren't watching this on YouTube. First of all, why not? But I know we're disappointed, but guess what? My wife is pregnant, and it's a boy. Defenders of the Bank have a new fan. Where's the applause? There it is. I don't know if that shows up anymore. I don't know if I didn't hear it. But
I mean, at this point, Scarf,
Mario, congratulations. It is Hello Kitty. It is a beautiful thing to expand the Defenders family, and there might be a Hello Kitty surprise coming your kids' way. Yay for Mario. Yay for expanding the family. Yay for something to talk about that's not Vancouver.
That's right. Congratulations to Mario. Look, you can choose the middle name, either Philly or Scarf will be fine. Whatever you choose is great. But we appreciate the family growing here at Defenders of the Bank. Let's hope that the son doesn't have to see as many Vancouver Whitecaps matches in his future. Philly, on the bright side of everything, against Vancouver, we outscored the Whitecaps. I mean, we did, right? We did.
We did. Brian Hollingshead got a goal. Eddie Segura got a goal. Problem is that those goals went past Hugo Lloris. So that kind of stinks. But Vancouver impacted them, very much a part of it. They weren't like ridiculous own goals. They were own goals that were caused for a good variety of reasons. And they're a good team. They're a good team. I mean, the fact is that even though they're in the position that they're in, yes, they might have fallen off. But look, Ryan Gold, Brian White, Fafa Pico, even, dare I say, Baby Berhalter, Ali Ahmed, even Takaoka. This team's got some good players. And if there's anything that they have right now is just as sick as we are of playing them, they are even more so sick of losing to us. So there is a desire and a burning one for them to compete and shut all of us up. I'm sure they're tired of it. I'm tired of this. If there's anything I could say about a glass half full thing, other than the fact that Mario's having himself a kid, which is freaking incredible, we are so beyond lucky that this isn't a home and a home aggregate scenario, because we would have been knocked out just like the Columbus Crew were by the New Jersey Energy Drinks, almost on the precipice, like Atlanta United might be in beating Miami. Wouldn't that be a shock if those three Titans along with us, go out. I'm not wishing that. By no means am I wishing that, but crazier things have happened in Major League Soccer.
Look, I was definitely thinking as the scoreline became what it was. Yeah, see, isn't this best of 3 format perfect? Woo! It's not a home and home aggregate. And someone was trying to say, oh, well, if it was an aggregate, we would have played differently. Yeah? Are you sure? How can you be so sure is my question. Look, I think the Vancouver Whitecaps might have put together their best 90 minutes. I don't want to hear about officiating. I don't want to hear about turf. I don't want to hear about luck. We got our butts kicked, guys, especially in the first half. I mean, look, LAFC tried to put lipstick on a pig in their press release when they said, the trio of Bogusz, Bawanga, and Giroud accounted for 9 shots, 8 of which happened in the second half. That means they got 1 between them in the first half, folks. That's not acceptable for 2 of the most dynamic playmakers in the league and Olivier Giroud. So I'm sorry, none of this was acceptable. The fact that they have already taken money out of our accounts to have to go see the Vancouver Whitecaps for another time, I get it. It's a business. They have to take the money out. I'm not upset about that. We agreed to it. And you know what? If the crest is on the field, I'm supporting it. I don't care if it's LAFC, LAFC2, LAFC's unified team, whoever you got. If it's wearing the crest, I'm supporting the academy. Obviously, we have an incredible academy. We'll support. But come on. It's just frustrating that we're here doing this again. But you know what? Here's what we know, Philly. You know who else is frustrated? The front office, the players, the listeners, the supporters, the fans. Everybody involved with LAFC is frustrated. So let's take a moment. Let's be frustrated together. And then let's use that collective energy at BMO Stadium on Friday, 22,000 strong. We know the 3252 will bring it. And let's silence these Vancouver Whitecaps once and for all.
I mean, you can't really say once and for all. We've really been whooping up on them. To quote Pedro Martinez back during his days pitching for the Red Sox, I just have to tip my hat and say the Yankees are my daddy. I mean, honestly, LAFC is Vancouver's daddy, with the exception of the game the other night. And speaking of which, you talk about how you're frustrated about money being taken out of your account. Defenders, I posted this on social media, both on mine and both on Defenders. I can't go to the game on Friday, again, which is another reason why I'm beyond bitter. I have to call a college basketball game. College basketball season in the Big West starts, and I am on the call the rest of the season, men and women, ESPN Plus for UC Riverside. I can't go to the game. And as a result of that, I don't want to eat this ticket, not for Vancouver. So I am willing to sell my tickets at face value. So for the 2 tickets, $594. But if you only want the 1 ticket, I'll do that too. You get to sit next to Panda. You get to throw stuff at the scarf. You get to drink all the beer and wine that you can because it's part of the package. You could eat all the ice cream, the snacks, the Jolly Ranchers, the whatever the case may be. It's all part of that ticket. Not to mention you get a great view center right behind the cameras. I'm selling this hard because I don't want to eat the money. No, soccer nerd, can't do 500 for both. I am not trying to make a profit, nor am I trying to lose money per se either. Face value, $594 for both tickets is literally what I paid. That's what I am selling the 2 for, unless you want to buy the 1.
I think you and Soccer Nerd should get together. I'm pretty sure you guys could figure something out. That would be really cool. Look, by the way, don't throw things at the scarf. Either way.
Popcorn is acceptable. It doesn't stain.
That's true. Let's get into this day in LAFC history. We don't have any news and notes, so we're just going to get right into it as quick as we can. Hey, by the way, if you're listening to this or watching us live today, Monday, November 4th, kind of an interesting day in LAFC history. All the way back in 2014. We know that LAFC just celebrated their 10th anniversary of the founding of the club 10 years ago on October 30th. Well, a couple of days later, November 4th, 2014, it's LAFC's first ever post on Instagram, which was Peter Guber's office and the original red, white, and black scarf.
Hang on. Keep talking.
Philly might have one of those somewhere in the back. I definitely have one of those somewhere in Scarf Kingdom. I don't know where it is right now, although my scarves are very well organized and I could go right to the bag that it's in. I know where it is. But that being said, Philly's got it. Look, there it is. This is why you should watch us on YouTube. Philly is having trouble holding up the scarf, but there it is. Yeah, there it is. There's the original colors, black and red, white. That's exciting. It's really cool. J. David Wallace, hello to everybody. We appreciate you guys in the chat. Yeah, and guys, look, tomorrow we know tomorrow's a big day. We're not going to touch on the politics of anything on this podcast, but here's what we want. We just want everybody to be able to come together on Friday and join our voices in supporting the black and gold. That's the bottom line. Red, blue, other color, it doesn't matter. We're all black and gold. And that's the most important thing. We just got to be with each other at BMO Stadium or at Christmas Tree Lane or at the away matches or at the watch parties or anywhere where two or more black and gold faithful are gathered in our name. So
no, I couldn't agree more. Like, regardless of who gets elected, we're still going to have to wake up in the morning and go to work. We're still going to have to put food on the table. We're still going to get stuck in traffic and complaining about it in Los Angeles. We still get to be happy about the Dodgers winning the World Series, right? Not a lot changes. And for anybody who is super obsessed with any one of these candidates, it seriously is the equivalent of like going to the strip club and thinking the stripper genuinely likes you. It's all hogwash. None of these people care, regardless of what office it is. We're all going to enjoy and go through our lives regardless. No one's going to tell us how to breathe, how to spend our money, maybe how much we pay in taxes. But ultimately, the only thing that we care about on this pod right now is LAFC and not the Vancouver Whitecaps. So however you vote, you vote. No more from us in that regard. Friday, that's what matters to us.
Yeah, and as a reminder, for all your Angel City needs, please be sure to listen to the Angel City Chicks and to follow at Angel City Chicks on all your social media platforms. Their season is over, but by the way, 17-year-old Kennedy Fuller absolutely crushed it at the Under-17 World Cup, where the U.S. women placed third. They lost to North Korea, and I thought that was like a typo at first, but apparently North Korea has legit women's soccer sides. It's pretty interesting, but Kennedy Fuller killed it. So congratulations to Kennedy Fuller on her stuff. Philly, soccer in 60. Who do we have coming up? Do you know?
No, I never know this early in the week. It's typically the day before. But the last episode had probably one of the best interviewers that we've ever done in that with Jordan Harvey. Jordan was very candid on his experience being in the front office as the assistant technical director. You wouldn't believe how much stuff he's got going on a daily basis. He talks about his career at Vancouver. He talks about LAFC. He talks about some of the fond memories at Vancouver, but how he's all in on the black and gold. Talks a little bit about his life growing up down in Orange County, having played soccer and baseball. And the fun part is, and I can't take the credit for it, our production manager, Gunnar Burnt, asked Jordan the question through my mouth, of course, because he was a sociology major, like, what kind of book would he write about soccer? And he had a really cool response. So without a doubt, one of the best interviews that we've ever had on that show, one of the best interviews I was ever a part of, the Jordan Harvey one. So if you're wanting to find it, head on over to whatever podcast platform that you utilize to fill your auditory canal. Look up Soccer in 60 or on YouTube at the Empire Strikers YouTube channel, the last episode of Soccer in 60. The next one coming up, I don't know. I mean, the way we've been going on things, we've been getting players from different clubs. I want to say at this point, as far as the rotation's concerned, probably belongs to Orange County. And since they won their first round match in the USL against Memphis on their way to the next round, I think that might be the next guest. So I'm just speculating. I don't know.
Well, there you go. All right. So that's all of the podcast pluggery that we need to do. We just want to also remind everybody, big thank you to our friends over at 500 Level. 500 Level takes care of all the merch for Defenders of the Bank. If you head over to defendersofthebank.com, click on the shop icon. That will lead you to our shop with all of our merch provided by 500 Level. But if you go to 500level.com, and I know Smirty, there was an issue with this code earlier. I have been assured it works. If you go to 500level.com, they make all kinds of amazing sports paraphernalia for whatever team that you are looking for. It could be the Kansas City Chiefs or the Kansas City Royals. It could be, you name it. You got any number of teams out there, all kinds of stuff. And you enter the code Defenders20 at checkout. you will get 20% off your entire purchase of everything at 500 level. We're not talking about the Defenders of the Bank shop. We're talking about whatever it is. Christmas coming up, Hanukkah coming up, Thanksgiving coming up. My birthday is March 20th. You don't need another reason to buy cool stuff. But look, 500 level has been in our corner since our shop has launched. We so appreciate all of them over there. So make sure you check it out. Defenders20 is the code to get 20% off. And if you walk through LAFC HQ, you guys, there's a bunch of stuff from Fanatics. There's a bunch of stuff from a lot of overpriced collabs like Wild Collective and a few others. But you look through how many of those tags are 500 level tags on a lot of the stuff that's being sold there. Make sure you hit it up. Defenders20 on, thank you, Ruben. Make sure you hit up Defenders20 at 500 level. You get all kinds of great stuff.
Yeah, and real quick, obviously we want to grow this YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe, you hit the notifications, you tell your family, your friends, your mother, your cousin. I don't want to go through this routine all over again, but you get that. We want to try to get this sucker up to 1,000 because at that point we could really start doing some bigger things with the YouTube. I know you all have spent the last several years mainly listening to us. Maybe because you rather hear our voices than see our faces. I get it. I'm not insulted by it. I've got a beautiful wife. As long as she can tolerate me, I don't really care about the rest. So, yeah, let's just grow this. And like Scarf said, check out Defenders of the Bank, the shop, and all that other stuff. And kick a ball real quick. I think UC Santa Barbara still has a darn good chance. And we've already had Colin Shuttler on the show. We've already had Ethan Zubak on the show. We've already had Bryce Jameson on the show. We've had Cameron Dunbar too. So we hit up a lot of the bigger names at Orange County on that pod. So check it out. Those are already archived.
All right, so 101 matches over the last 2 seasons. And yes, 11 of them have been against the Vancouver Whitecaps. That is more than 10% of the matches that we have played over the last 2 years. In fact, I don't know of a Major League Soccer club that has played 101 matches over the last 2 seasons. Certainly Philadelphia sitting at home, now Columbus sitting at home. Lots of clubs wish they were in the position that we are in right now to be able to play Vancouver a 12th time. Just ask Columbus. Just ask Real Salt Lake and Chicho Arango if he would love to take one more match this season. They absolutely would. We are now 7-3-1 against Vancouver in those 11 matches. And unfortunately away, we're now 3-1-1. But the bottom line is, folks, if we want to get past this first round, this ridiculous format that Major League Soccer has provided us, we have to go through Vancouver for a 12th time in 102 matches. So you know what? We might as well rip the Band-Aid off of this one, Philly, and get talking about how the 101st match went. What do you think?
Yeah, let's just get to it.
All right. So we know Vanny, and we know he comes out in his 4-3-2-1. And look, I love Vanny because
Vanny Sartini, that would be.
Yes. Vanny
Not Greg Vanny.
No. Vanny is all of us. He coaches with his emotions on his sleeve. He coaches angry at the referees. He coaches trying to be friendly with everybody out there, with the exception of everybody in a pro refereeing shirt. I kind of love the guy. I'm definitely sick of the guy, but he is an everyman type of coach. He's a coach that players love to play for. And what we saw is exactly what I had talked about on One More Sleep, a club that had nothing to lose and just put everything out there from minute one. Make no mistake about it. Maybe with the exception of about 10 or 15 minutes in the second half, LAFC got completely outplayed, and here's the lineup that did it. I think a lot of people are calling this player the player of the match. I don't know, but he definitely is a player that you're going to have to stand up and recognize. Yohei Takaoka in goal, had 2 absolutely incredible saves in the match and did everything he needed to do to keep his boys out in front. The one change on the back line, Vanny Sartini drops Matias Laborda and inserts Sebastian Berhalter. And baby Berhalter, again, providing the versatility. He is really sharpening that trade piece so that whatever Chicago Fire want to give to make sure that they are able to get baby Berhalter reunited with daddy over in Chicago, Vancouver Whitecaps have to be absolutely salivating at the idea of how valuable Berhalter has been, especially over this stretch. He's looked very, very good against LAFC. Same other three on the back line: Ranko Veselinovic, Tristan Blackman, of course, formerly of LAFC, and Sam Adekugbe. On the midfield three, it's Ali Ahmed dropping back into the midfield. He did start in between Ryan Gauld and Brian White in match one. Now he drops to the outside of the midfield in place of Pedro Vite. And it's Andreas Cubas and Stuart Armstrong, who, again, is very, very good. And we're seeing that. And the three up top, we mentioned Ryan Gauld, we mentioned Brian White, and those two guys are kind of good, turns out. But the old man in Vancouver turning back the clock and putting on an absolute masterclass of a performance. Fafa Picault looking incredible and really turning back the hands of Father Time this season. I think he has something like 17 goal contributions on the year, which might be a career high for Fafa Picault, or at least a high since he's turned like 30. Dude is very, very good, and he's in his late 30s. Definitely someone to watch. Off the bench, Alessandro Schopf, Ryan Raposo, Matthias Laborda, Bjorn Utvik, and Ralph Prizo. That is the Vancouver Whitecaps 18. Philly, who we got for LAFC?
Hugo Lloris. Should I go through the rest of the lineup? The rest of the lineup even there? Is that it? Should I? All right, fine. Aaron Long. Shout out UC Riverside. Maxime Chanot, Sergi Palencia, Ryan Hollingshead, Lewis O'Brien, Timothy Tillman, Kike Oliveira, Denny Bawanga, Scarf's new favorite player of the season, Olivier Giroud, and Matty Bogush coming off of the Pine Pony, Eddie Segura, Edward Atuesta, Scarf's second favorite LAFC player of the season. David Martinez finally coming back for the first time since he got injured in the 76th minute in the match against Vancouver. Jesus David Murillo makes his way back. Amen to that. And Kai Kamara. We would not see Marlon. We would not see Omar Campos. We would not see Ilie Sanchez. And for sure, we would not see Thomas Hasal. Let's get into this stupid game.
What if Thomas Hasal is actually a double agent for Vancouver and he's giving them all the insights as to what we're doing pre-match? What if
this isn't Serie A, bro, or like the second division mania where we trade players for refrigerator and pounds of meat.
Maybe we should bring up David Ochoa just for the third leg on Friday. Thomas Hasal, we know you listen to the podcast. I'm kidding. I said that tongue in cheek, but just a thought. I mean, for all of you that don't know, he was Vancouver's keeper during COVID. He looked absolutely fantastic when he was like 19 years old. Hasn't really done much in Major League Soccer professionally since, but I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. That's all.
Oh, I forgot to address the elephant in the room. Question in the chat is, why didn't Vela travel? It's simple, defenders. He went to the Clipper game. That's why Carlos Vela didn't travel. Oh, mighty Carlos Vela did not take the trip because he was with his wife at the Clipper game. And up to that point, I don't even think the Clippers have won at the Intuit Dome. I think they're playing today. I don't know if they're home or away. But Carlos Vela did not make the trip because he was busy watching a basketball game. Does that mean he will be on LAFC's bench on Friday? I don't know at this point anymore. Your guess is as good as mine. I'd like to think so, but I don't know.
I mean, Carlos in between matches, there's got to be some real recovery going on right now. Look, let's get into it.
I mean, how do you recover at a Clipper game, for Christ's sake?
I mean, there's a lot of room. It's a lot of space. You don't have to worry.
You go hang out with Kawhi Leonard on the bench.
Let's go 10 minutes in. Look, LAFC did have one small moment on a nice corner from Matty Bogush to Maxime Chanot. So at least we know how to run corner kicks, but you have to keep generating them, and we didn't. And sure enough, in a goal, Philly, I went back and watched the 5th minute stoppage time goal by Ryan Gauld, and these two looked eerily similar between the way they ended last match and the way they start this one. Philly, 10 minutes in, there's some chaos in the box again. It's why one of my keys to the match on One More Sleep was make the easy clearance, just get the ball the hell out of there. LAFC can't do it. And 10 minutes in, Philly, Ryan Gauld once again, and LAFC down 1-0 in a dream start for Vancouver. And in Major League Soccer this season, LAFC won exactly one game after falling behind out of the 15 times that they did it. So already, stats not on our side, but I was fuming, Philly, because all I said was make the easy clearance, stop trying to do too much, and Ryan Gauld pounces once again, just like he did in stoppage time last match.
I mean, the guy's good. Look at what he's done throughout the entire postseason. Ryan Gauld is good. And I think Jordan Harvey even admitted it on the podcast that I did with him about a week ago. He said Ryan Gauld might actually be one of the best designated players this league has. He just does not get the prime time that he deserves because he plays for a small market team like the Vancouver Whitecaps. If Ryan Gauld was in any of the bigger metropolitan areas, that name would be on the tip of everybody's tongue. You pointed down to something. What's to say here?
I just want you to read what Cougar put in the chat. I mean,
Smarty and I turned to each other and said the same exact thing. Scarf called it. Yeah, Scarfstradamus can pop out once in a while. I don't more often than not. He still has to give me winning lottery numbers, though. So therefore, I have to go to my daytime job. But you want to talk about stats that are against us? Look, Vancouver's 12-2-3 when scoring first. So that was another thing. They've only what? Yeah, we've only won once when conceding first. So stats worked against us, but it's Vancouver, right? We've seen this before. They've gone up on us 2-0, and we've managed to come back, right? It's Vancouver. It couldn't get any worse than this. Oh, wait a minute. It sure did.
I mean, you said they've gone up 2-0 on us before, so why not try it again, right? Just 3 minutes later. Philly's boy, baby Berhalter. Nobody closes out the space on Sebastian Berhalter. And look, all he has to do is find Ryan Gauld. And what do we say over and over and over again this season? Put the ball in a dangerous place. He absolutely put the ball in a dangerous place. A perfect cross for a cutting Ryan Hollingshead, who hammers it home. I mean, it was as if the pass was intended for Ryan Hollingshead. I don't know. I don't know what he saw. I don't know what he thought. I haven't gone back and seen if he was asked a question about it. I mean, clearly he's trying to just pop it over the bar, right? I don't know. I don't know if that's what he's trying to do. All I know is just like, remember that own goal that we scored earlier in the year where it was a perfect cross to Eddie Segura on the header, and it looked like the play was drawn up for Eddie? It looked like this play was drawn up for Ryan Hollingshead. I was just, and you could tell poor Ugo just kind of puts his hand up going, what the heck is going on? 2 goals in 13 minutes. And look, what I expected, Philly, is for Vancouver to now just park and park and park and stall and stall and stall. And they didn't. They kept at us.
Yeah, look, we're lucky that Fafa Pico didn't slam the door shut on us going into that 17th minute. He had a shot that just barely went wide, and that continued to happen. Vanni Sartini didn't park any buses. No way. He threw the offense forward trying to stifle us. Our forwards, for the most part, disappeared in the first half. I mean, we didn't really see much out of anybody. We had, 3 shots total in the first 45 minutes. Yeah. I don't even know how many times Denny touched the ball. Obviously, that changed to start the second half, but we were inept. There was nothing there. And as much as I wanted to defend and say things like, I'm not, the Olivier Giroud experiment thus far, not working. And the constant dialogue and the conversation has been centered around the fact that LAFC just doesn't know how to work with him. They can't get the ball over to him. Look, he's a talented player. An elite striker can make things happen on his own. I hate bringing up this man. I hate bringing up this team. But if we're going to compare elite world-class strikers to elite world-class strikers, I got to bring up Zlatan and that piss-poor Galaxy team that he was on in the 2 years that he was here. His comment about him being a Ferrari amongst a bunch of Fiats, he's right. I would even say that the Fiats were a far worse car than a Fiat would be. No disrespect to the Italian car maker. But anytime that guy had the ball, he had an opportunity, and he was very clinical and downright lethal scoring goals. Giroud just he looks like he's lost most of the time. I'm pretty sure at some point he didn't realize how competitive Major League Soccer is. I don't expect or assume that he came into this thinking it would be a walk in the park, especially after having had a great season over in Serie A with AC Milan, where he was top 10 in the league in both goals and assists. But he just hasn't been it, man. Not been it whatsoever. Anytime he has the ball, it's not a moment of fear. I don't see how it could work with him. Kai Kamara, on the other hand, totally different story. Whether or not we constantly run him 90 minutes every game, that's a different story. I don't necessarily agree with that. But with Olivier Giroud in the lineup, we're just not a very scary team.
And look, it's not that we are sitting here going by one or two matches at this point. We've seen a body of work. The bottom line is this for me. It's not who we are. It's not what we do. We don't feed into a number 9 the way that Olivier Giroud and clubs that he has played on in previous situations do. It's not who we are. It's been Carlos Vela on the right side with the left foot, Denis Bouanga on the left side, attacking. It's been quick passes through the middle. It's been a speed game. It's been every now and then you have guys like Mamadou Fall or Walker Zimmerman or even a Maxime Chanot or a Kai Kamara on a header from a corner or a set piece. But it's just one of those things where it's not that he is a bad player, although I do think there's a little bit of this, and I'm going to use a boxing analogy. There are some times, Philly, and you and I both like the fight game. You're more of an MMA guy, I'm more of a boxing guy. But you can see when a fighter gets old in the ring, and sometimes it happens at a moment's notice. It happened with Forrest Whitaker. It happened with Felix Trinidad. It happens with some of the bigger heavyweights out there really quickly. David Ruiz comes to mind. But that might also be what's happening with Olivier. Maybe he just declined a little bit more than we thought. Teams like AC Milan don't give up a player who has done those things as recently as he has if they don't know a little bit of something. I'm not saying that's all of what it is. I'm not saying it's not that he deserves better service. I'm not saying that he maybe didn't underestimate MLS a little bit. But what I do think is what's happening is he is a square peg in a round system, and I just don't think we're the system for it. That's it.
Yeah, look, 15 goals in Serie A in his last season. 8 assists in Serie A last season. With AC Milan, a good team, going up against really good competition. Look, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some, and while we still have him for a little while and he could still have that Gareth Bale-esque kind of a moment, I'm going to stand on what I said many, many months ago where I was saying caution on relying on a 38-year-old striker coming here. He's not going to be the savior and answer to everything that we have. Without him even being here, I still think we would have been fine, possibly even better off. I think we were very tentative with trying to do things and work around and with him. Now, it's not to say that there's not chemistry amongst all the players. I'm sure there is. But when you see, if you're just going to look at the stupid eye test, it just doesn't look good. You don't have to know ish about ish to see what we see on the pitch day in and day out and realize that thus far, this hasn't worked. Maybe sit him for the next game and see how we do and then bring him on. I would like to see him more as a super sub, to have him redefine that role he had when he played in the Premier League, when he came off the bench and scored some clinical bangers. That might be what we need. I say at this point, might as well bring in Kai, bro, at the very least. Or at that point, just we'll run it up with Oliveira on the other side and just do things that way. Our system wasn't broke prior to Olivier Giroud. It really wasn't. Did we get that better with him? No, I don't think so. Despite having had just come off of a 7-game winning streak and winning the U.S. Open Cup, how much of that can you really attribute to the Frenchman? Not a whole lot.
And Philly, I'm going to say this too. I really like Kike's new role as like this wing back, but we saw Fafa Pikal, a veteran, kind of expose that over the last match. I think that the rubber's really going to meet the road when we see what lineup Steve Cherundolo puts out there in a back-to-the-wall, do-or-die, must-win, single elimination, at-home contest. Because I think what we're going to see is if Steve Cherundolo sees what we see, or if, obviously, there are plenty of reasons why guys like JT and Steve Cherundolo have the jobs that they do, Philly, and you and I have the jobs that we do. Let's see what happens. But I would be surprised if they don't do exactly what you just said, Philly. If they don't start Kai Kamara.
Let's look at it this way. He played 64 minutes. He had 10 out of 13 accurate passes. He created one chance. He had 2 shots off target. He had 22 touches and a successful dribble, 6 touches in the opposition's box. He was dispossessed once. He had a clearance. That was what we got out of a 64-minute shift from Olivier Giroud. Now, you tell me whether or not that's enough.
I mean, look, I think matchup styles make fights, right? So this could be something that Vancouver is looking to take away from us, although I don't think it's high on their list. I think guys like Denis Bouanga and Kiki Oliveira, and when they come in, guys like Kai Kamara and David Martinez, and obviously Matty Bogusz and everything that he's brought to us. I'm going to say one other thing, and this is a full circle moment for me so far. I really like the energy and the offensive acumen that Edward Atuesta gave us late. Could be that maybe we need to see a little bit more of Atuesta, especially if we're going to move Matty up, play up top with a false 9, and have Denis on one side, and whether it's David Martinez or Kiki Oliveira or whoever else it is that we bring in on that other side. If Matty's a false 9, then that means Atuesta or Tillman or somebody else has to get the start in the midfield next to Lewis O'Brien. So we'll see what happens with that. I just like our speed option a little bit more. That being said, one last thing before we get into the second half. Hey, our buddy Mo Edu, we know that you listen to the pod. You're a big supporter. We love you very much. Thank you, Maurice Edu. He's up on the red card talk with Denis Bouanga on a follow-through there on a pass. Oh, it looked like it was intentional. Oh, look how high his boot got up. Dude, if I walk into a golfer's backswing on the driving range at a Alondra golf course, that's as much on me as it is on that golfer having a really big backswing. There was nothing egregious. There was nothing intentional. There was nothing malicious with what Denis Bouanga did in the 41st minute. And if you think he's the type of player that, even as frustrated as he must have been in that moment, he's trying to go studs up on someone's thigh on a pass at midfield and deserves a red, my dude, take a deep breath. Not happening. Not happening.
Yeah. Look, and we closed out the half, and I'm sure you saw this too, with hardly any sense of urgency. Zero. And that was kind of another troublesome thing. It's like they were just waiting to get out of the half and just go back to the locker room and reset. You go until the whistle. I'm not a professional athlete. God, Lord knows I'm not a professional athlete.
Wait, what?
Yeah, right. Isn't that so freaking wild and crazy? Weird. But I mean, like, and this is stuff I heard when I was in junior high. You go until you hear the whistle. I mean, I think that's just kind of basic. And I'm not really saying anything that I think is like egregious. I think it's fair. We ended the half without any sense of urgency. They had possession, LAFC that is. They opted to middle around the midfield and just wait for a whistle to blow. And I think that right there, that tiny little moment in time that nobody will remember other than me because I wrote it down, it was a microcosm as to how the game went. No sense of urgency, at least up until that part. And that's and we deserved to be down 4-0. We had 3 shots, none of them on target. Vancouver had 11, 2 of them on target. And they were just the better team in the first half. But, Lord knows we came out swinging in the second half, and this game could have really changed had it not been for a couple of different plays and a few different scenarios with shots on goal.
Yeah, first 10 minutes, right? It's a great response from LAFC. They went in with a full blitz package coming out of the half. 46th minute, you got Denis, who's up the right with a great ball. And look, this was Giroud making the right run, whether it was his touch or whether it was a Denis pass that was a little wide. At least I like the 1-2 game that Denis and Giroud are playing. Right after that, again, Denis on the left taking on 2 defenders, hard into the side netting. But that's a play that we've seen him score tons of times on this season. And another great cross whipped in by Denis soon after that Takaoka has to come out and get. So, Philly, you're looking at the first 10 minutes of the half going, all right, we're at least there. We're ready. And it all culminates at the hour mark with what would have been likely a sure goal, if not an incredible save by Yohei Takaoka.
Yeah, Lewis O'Brien had a phenomenal pass connecting with Denis. He gets his best chance, like you said it to that point, but Takaoka stonewalls him. That should have been one. Damn it, that should have been one. But, he couldn't put it in. That right there, so early on in the half, would have really shaped things in a different direction. Takaoka, good on him for making the save. I think not in any other scenario. And if we run that same play 9 out of 10 times, then he scores that goal. It just wasn't our game. It wasn't his game. But we certainly looked a lot better getting the ball to him because we looked like a completely different team to start off the half. But unfortunately, as things would go, we would find the back of the net. The unfortunate thing is it wouldn't be for ourselves.
Yeah, Philly, the thing is, too, we had a game like that just a few matches ago, right? Where Denis scores right before substitutions are made. Then the substitutions come on. We keep the pressure on. We equalize. And then all of a sudden, we're off and running. And that looked like the script that we had written once again. 60th minute, we have that play by Denis that Takaoka makes a save on. 63rd minute, Giroud, Chanot, and Tillman come off with David Martinez, Eddie Segura, and Eduardo Tuesta on. And just a couple minutes later, right, there's that great series of chances that happen in the box. 67th minute, Kike to Atuesta, and then Denis' chance on the rebound. Like, we made some great plays over the first even 27 minutes, kind of against the run of play off of a middling throw-in. The ball gets to Ryan Gauld in the box. And Eddie Segura, I don't know if he got trapped on Brian White's back or if he was intending on defending his back and not letting him turn. Whatever it was, I think moreover, Philly, what it really was just a great ball in another dangerous spot by Ryan Gauld once again. Ryan Gauld puts the ball in a dangerous spot. Ryan Hollingshead scores. Ryan Gauld puts the ball in a dangerous spot. Eddie Segura scores. It's making players make plays, whether it's your team offensively or whether it's very Major League Soccer to see 2 own goals in a single match, and we certainly saw that in this one.
Yeah, and I mean, look, that's pretty much it. I mean, the only other thing that you would get, yes, we see Jesus David Murillo checking into the game, and not even 10 minutes or so goes by, and he gets a yellow card. There's 3 things in life that are an absolute guarantee: death, taxes, and Jesus David Murillo getting a yellow card. No question about it. But with him being back, that should at least add a little bit of faith to our defense. I mean, we done pretty well without him, all things considered. And Marlon even had himself a goal, which isn't something that you can really say that
for our team
really done. What?
For our team, not for the other team.
Yeah, exactly. Where it went on the positive. But
yeah.
Look, I mean, I don't know if you have anything else. I don't, other than a lot of expletives that I dare not say on a family-friendly podcast. And even now, I won't say anything. But Stuart Armstrong is a good player. And thankfully, we did have Eddie Segura make a great play on him, because Segura absolutely took away what could have been the 4th goal of the game for the Vancouver Whitecaps. So good for that play, blocking and deflecting Stuart Armstrong.
Yeah, look, just a couple of quick things. It was August 25th, by the way. It was the last time that we saw Jesus Murillo on the pitch. So August 25th to November 3rd, that's quite a layoff for Murillo. Luckily, like we had talked about, it took him 7 minutes to get his first yellow back. Congrats.
Yes.
79th minute, I just want to mention a great corner by David Martinez. Just missed Eddie Segura. And it could have been a good thing for Eddie's confidence. And then a great ball that popped out to Kike Oliveira. Takaoka gets a touch, and then Bjorn Utvik off the line. Who knows? Maybe it's that late goal by Ryan Gauld that kind of propelled Vancouver to the I think I can, to the I know I can, to the hell, let's do it twice in a row philosophy that they have now picked up. And it would have been really nice in that 79th, 80th minute. It would have been really nice to get one back and go, all right, all is not lost in the world. We've figured our stuff out. But no. 84th minute, Murillo with the yellow. 89th minute, Eddie Segura, lucky to not get a red.
Yeah.
Very lucky to not get a red as being the last man back on that ball. It was a dangerous challenge. Glad they didn't go to VAR because I do really believe, Philly, that might have been a red card on Eddie Segura. Then he wouldn't have been available for this match. I know some people out there listening are going, okay. But either way, it is what it is. Philly, the unfortunate part is Vancouver helped make some history in the postseason against LAFC.
Yeah, the first time we've ever been shut out in postseason, even when we lost games in the postseason, going back to 2018 when we lost to Real Salt Lake, we at least found the back of the net. And this time, First time we've gotten shut out. First time we've lost to a Western Conference opponent since 2020 in the postseason. So good on Vancouver. They won their first playoff game since 2017, and they did so in the most convincing of fashions. Our 7-game winning streak across all competitions is done. And I'll tell you what, if I'm going to go at it from a glass half full perspective, which I'm usually that kind of a guy in life anyway, it takes the same amount of energy to be optimistic as it does to be a negative POS. And I am not by any means a negative POS. I think I make that very clear. If this was the kick to the teeth we needed, so be it. Even if it costs us all a couple $100 and another trip to BMO against Vancouver. I think we did need a dose of reality. As bored as we are of playing this team, I'm sure that players are kind of tired of it too. But, it worked in the exact opposite way for Vancouver. They're tired of losing to us. And so when we get the win on Wednesday, Wednesday, what the hell am I talking about? When we get the win on Friday, we're going to go up against a team that's also been really tired of losing against us, and that is Seattle. They beat the Houston Dynamo, and what was a pretty darn good series. Friend of the podcast, Jen Munoz's boyfriend, Tate Schmidt, was the Houston Dynamo player that unfortunately got his shot blocked, which propelled Seattle to the victory. But, it can't look ahead of Seattle. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I do think that we have what it takes to win. I do think we are going to win, and I think we're going to continue to advance. Every good team needs a reminder every once in a while that they are not what's the word I'm looking for? The greatest of the great. I think at this point, you go back to the drawing board, you realize where you've effed up, and then you go out there and then you close the case, shut the season, give the eulogy, nail in the coffin, dig the 6 feet, bury or cremate Vancouver, and be done with this flipping Canadian team. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, look, here's the deal, right? The last time our backs were against the wall or we faced a little bit of adversity, we rattled off a 7-match win streak, and all that did was propel us to the top of the Western Conference seedings for these playoffs. So if you put LAFC's back against the wall, I like how we responded even earlier this year. We went out and we chased down Carson. We did what we had to do. But now that we have the catbird seat, as Vin Scully used to say, do something with it now that we are in it. Otherwise, this whole season is for naught. Yes, we won the U.S. Open Cup, which makes Scarf very, very happy. But that is not a successful season at LAFC. I'm sorry, nowhere near it. So look, we circle the wagons, we rally, we do what we have to do, and we play like the damn number 1 seed in the West that we are. If you were to just look at how these clubs are playing, kind of like what the Dodgers said about the Yankees. I think that if you look at the Yankees, one of them said, and they reseeded teams, they might be the 8th or 9th best team overall because in the margins, they got beat so badly. We have to stop getting beat in the margins by clubs like Vancouver. We have to go out and play our brand, our style of football. And look, as Philly and I have said, I don't know if that includes Olivier Giroud in the starting lineup. Maybe it includes Kai Kamara. Maybe it includes more of Eduardo Atuesta. Maybe it includes starting Matty Bogusz back up top. We got a lot of different things that we can do because the depth on this squad is real. We might be the deepest squad in Major League Soccer, and we need to use some of that depth to turn the screws on for 90 minutes at BMO Stadium and close the doors on a best-of-3 first-round playoff series.
The player who made that comment was former UC Riverside Highlander pitcher Joe Kelly, who now no longer wears the number 17 because he got himself a pretty brilliant 10-year annuity from his teammate Shohei Ohtani. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google Joe Kelly, Shohei Ohtani number. Mrs. Kelly even got herself a Porsche. I wonder what it must be like living in that kind of world where I can just promise my teammate, X amount of money and give his wife a Porsche as a thank you for letting me swap numbers. These are just things that I can't fathom. I really can't because I sit here and I think about BS all day. I think I need to rewire my thinking about life. But anyway,
you mean Philly only taking 20 of your 700 million while you're playing for it?
Yeah. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But anyway, look.
Sorry, I got to put Lafferty's comment up just for a second. Love you.
Unnecessary analogy scarf.
Sorry, buddy. Love you.
Look, crazy things have happened. We've already seen the Columbus Crew get knocked out. Atlanta United is really sticking it to Miami. If we manage to beat Vancouver and Atlanta beats Inter Miami, guess what? We propel ourselves to the MLS Cup final. We get to host it. And that's an amount of money that I actually wouldn't be too upset in spending. Actually, I should probably take that back because Amanda's running that Sacramento marathon right around. Never mind. Yes, I want LAFC in the final. But look, now pounce. We all want it. The team wants it. It's never a question. You can't quantify, they don't want it enough. That's a stupid thing to say because none of us know what the deal is. We're not in the locker room. But look, this is our chance. I would agree with you if we don't go forward and represent the West in the MLS Cup final and win it. I do think it's a meh kind of a season. U.S. Open Cup is great, but at the end of the day, the mission has and always will be to win as many trophies as we can. We won the U.S. Open Cup. MLS Cup is always the most important one, and we can do it. Like you said, we've got the deepest team to do it. They just have to show us what they've shown us on a multitude of occasions this season and just go out there and execute. At BMO, we got the home field advantage. We've got the 32-52. We've got a great atmosphere, greatest in Major League Soccer. I'm feeling pretty good about Friday. Just a little bummed that I can't be there yet again.
No, I'm definitely bummed you won't be there. By the way, we also did qualify for CONCACAF Champions League in 2025, which is great. So who knows where we're going to get to go play there. But that's just it. We've talked an awful lot about Vancouver. Join us on Thursday for a very special Getting to Know You episode of the Vancouver Whitecaps, where we talk only about their physio staff, because that's the only people that we haven't talked about so far. So you get to learn who gives Ali Ahmed his leg cramp rub down at the end of the game, because we will bring you coverage like that here on no, we're not doing that anymore. All right.
I mean, look, it's something new to read about. I mean, at this point, I think I can tell you, all their astrological signs. Don't test me. But we know way too much about Vancouver. And if you don't know who Ryan Gold or Brian White is, you've not been watching LAFC these last 2 years. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. I got nothing, man. I'm good over this. I'm over Vancouver. I'm already dreading One More Sleep. I just say we talk about buttons on One More Sleep the next time around. Why not? The fun kind of buttons that you sew on a pea coat. The fun kind of buttons that you sew on a dress shirt. I'd rather talk about buttons than Vancouver.
Guys, I think we've finally lost Philly, but you know how we like to end each and every one of our episodes. Thank you all for joining us on Defenders of the Bank, episode 336. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit all the cool buttons, according to Philly. And yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.